growing up and hearing the word brand or branding brought to mind most of the time just one single image: a cowboy, a wrangler out on the range lassoing a steer, subduing it, and then with a hot iron applying the ranch's distinguishing mark to that steer. Nowadays, hearing those words brings to mind a whole different reality. Distinguishing commercial brands has been around as long as we've been selling things. Some, it seems, like forever. Jell-O, Kleenex, Heinz, Apple. Lots of time and money goes into building a brand. I remember branding really taking off when clothes began applying those figures on our shirts. The polo player, the crocodile, and now a cute little smiling whale. I still need someone to explain that one to me. At first, I found myself pushing back from brands. Why would I want to be a walking billboard so somebody else can make money with no reimbursements? Didn't seem fair to me. But actually, maybe I was pushing back from brands so often because I was jealous that I couldn't afford those shirts for myself, seriously. Brands are everywhere. Brands are everywhere now, and promoting one's brand is a whole industry. The university has branding everywhere. Even parishes have their brands. My friend got assigned to a new parish as their new pastor. I think it might have been his first or second pastorate. Anyway, he tells a story of how he pulled into the parking lot the very first time ever in his life. He pulls in the parking lot of Holy Redeemer Parish. And he sees all these logos on all these brandings on all these car windows. Everywhere he looked, he saw them. This decal, a circle with HR in the middle. And he says, you know, for just a moment, I actually thought to myself, this is so odd. Are there really that many people working in human resources in this parish? CSC has a brand. Do you know what it is? A brand? You see it everywhere. You see it on every mailing. I suspect you walked on it as you came into the doors, if it came in those doors. Well, actually, both rugs have a logo on it. The logo for us, the branding for us, is this circle with a fire in the middle. It's reminiscent of many things for many people, but it's very identifiable now. It's probably been with us for some 25 years, wherever you go. Our brand, if you will. Maybe a couple of years ago now, I remember meeting a man at a party. He was a Jewish man. And when he found out who I was and where I work, he said, oh my gosh, he said, I've always wanted to hear more about that place. You guys have about the best branding in the city. I don't know what that means all the way, but it couldn't be just the logo. But I think he was kind of saying people have a positive experience here by and large, and they talk about it. The CSC is known for this brand of whatever sort that is. So if I were to ask you, what would you say is the Christian brand? What would you say is the Christian brand? For Catholics, I think we would easily and clearly say the sign of the cross is a brand for us, whether it's on sports fields or before eating in a restaurant. The sign of the cross, I think, is identifiably us. For all Christians, the brand could also be perhaps those same folks sitting around a table in a restaurant bowing their heads for a moment together, or maybe even joining hands around that table. Clearly a brand for them. But the question that matters the most to me is what would Jesus want our brand, all of our brands, all the branding of those who follow him, what does Jesus want that brand to look like? And you really don't have to look any further than the gospel you just heard. There it is. This is how all will know that you are my disciples. This is how all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. If you have love for one another. So it's not our grand churches and our towering domes and our spires reaching for the sky. It's not our church bells. It's not the Roman collar, nor is it our devotional prayers. It will be the way. It will be the way that we show our love for one another. That's our brand, how we will show love for one another. And of course, Jesus was talking here not just about our own fellow community members, our own families, the guys we play softball with, our reading groups. This is about much more than that. What Jesus is really saying is, see how they have made everyone, no exceptions, a one another. Refugees, immigrants fleeing for their lives and the lives of their children. So many of our brothers of color in prison. Our sisters and brothers who are homeless on the streets, struggling with mental illness and addictions. Some who are unfamiliar with our brand then will not only recognize us for who we are, but they will want to get in on the action. When they see us caring for one another, without exception, they will want to get in on the action. And I would suggest to you this morning, that's building a brand.